You want to be a young boss, but your sales are stuck. You're burned out trying to find the right people, and you end up doing all of the work yourself. You're bleeding money, and you're fighting to keep your business afloat. I've been there. I'm Isabelle Guarino, and I've scaled businesses to millions, and I've watched ideas burn to the ground. And I know exactly what it takes to survive and win. This is Young Boss, the podcast that helps you break through the barriers standing between you and the business you deserve, where youth is your power. Most people feel stuck in the corporate grind, but what if you could master the game and build something on your own? That's exactly what Brittany Honor has done. She's balancing a full-time career she loves while launching Honor Development, a coaching company helping people crush interviews, navigate corporate politics, and step confidently into their purpose. In this episode, Brittany shares how to silence self-doubt, manage the juggle between passion and paycheck, and turn faith and grit into your biggest business assets. If you've ever wondered how to play chess, not checkers, in your career, this is your blueprint. Let's dive in. Welcome to the show, Brittany.
Thanks so much for having me, Isabelle.
I am so excited you're here because I remember when we were first talking about Honor Development and really getting this off the ground, you had such a motivation and passion for doing something on your own. So let's go back to the beginning. What got you started into saying, I need to step into this journey and start Honor Development?
You know, I only know corporate world. That's all I knew. You go to school, you graduate, you get a job, you work in corporate America. I've been surrounded every now and then by entrepreneurs, but I was like, oh, those people are crazy. How do they do this? But once I met my husband almost 6 years ago, his family, they're huge entrepreneurs in Turks and Caicos. Mm-hmm. And his father was just like, Brittany, you're a bright woman. Why don't you go in business for yourself? You have so many talents, so many skills. And I was so hesitant. And honestly, I think it was once you and I met and you were talking about a little bit about what you do. I think once you start surrounding yourself by the right people and that have the mindset of the direction that you want to go in, it pushes you to step out of your comfort zone. And it took me a minute to get there and mentally convince myself and that internal itty bitty shitty committee that I like to call, convince them that it was okay to go out there and step out on faith and do it. And of course, tons of prayer. And I finally took the leap. And it's been amazing. It's been such a whirlwind and tons of learning lessons.
I love it. Now you're still working your corporate job as you're building this, which as so many entrepreneurs we've talked to on the show before, they've said that's how they get started. You know, you've got to have some income coming in while you are taking this leap of faith and putting more eggs into that basket. What has it been like balancing both of them?
It has challenged me more than anything, just from a time management standpoint of my corporate job is my main priority. And it's also my passion, what I do on a corporate level. And focusing on that, and then, but also my coaching and consulting, that fills my cup. And it really is the fuel that helps me keep going forward on those tough days on my corporate job. It really, my dad always says, do what you have to do so you could do what you want to do. And it just helps me be able to balance the two of those things. It's been really difficult, if I'm going to be honest, as I start to be a little bit more forward facing with what I do, of talking specifically about the podcast and the career advice that I give on Tuesdays, the naysayers internally at my organization has been tough to navigate. And having to reiterate to people over and over that my first priority is my corporate job and that this is also something that I do, similar to how people are training for marathons. I'm not training for a marathon. Your girl ain't running every day, but I'm pouring into other people. Like, that is my workout. That is my exercise. That is my release, similar to what other people do. So having to navigate that's been a little bit difficult, but I've learned so much along the way that I'm really appreciative of the good and the bad times.
It's so interesting that you say that, because I know when I started this podcast, I had career advisors telling me, hey, if this brand takes off, you're going to have people from, your original company get upset with you and be
Mhm.
like, hey, you can't do this. And now we need you more over here and your time's going over there. And it's like, no, I can balance it. You still have me over there. Just because you're seeing me over here too doesn't take away from anything I'm doing over there. And I think that that can be hard for
Yeah.
coworkers, for bosses, for other people in your life to understand that you can, balance, and that sometimes you need to have outside things going on to
Absolutely.
keep it
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. And I think it's also difficult for people who don't understand why you do what you do. I've
Mm,
been very vocal, both internally and externally. I'm a servant leader. Everything that I do is to serve others. And I really believe that's my mission in life. And when people don't understand that, and when you have a calling to do something, they don't understand it. And the guy that I work for, my manager corporately, is absolutely amazing. I think he's come into my life at such a right time. He's always said, he's like, Brittany, I think the reason why people might have issues with it is because you do both things so well. And the fact that
mm.
you do things so well, people don't understand it. And it used to bother me at first, but now I'm learning how to navigate it. And it's just another thing that's helping me kind of build grit and grind
Yeah.
to be able to push through the tough times.
It's been really fun to watch you grow in this. And I know that there's been moments where we've had sidebar conversations about imposter syndrome and, hey, what marketing are we using and things. And we've been growing both of our podcasts at the same time. I love catching episodes of Chess, Not Checkers. You have such fun guests and the topics you cover are just vast. What has been the most challenging part about starting a podcast?
Oh boy. The most challenging part of starting a podcast is that I'm a one woman show. So
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to, the public speaking and the interviewing and facilitating discussions. I had a coach prior to this that helped me significantly develop that skills. Ironically, that was one of my weak spots, was facilitating a discussion with people. I struggled with that greatly.
I
And
can't even see that.
it's so funny, but initially that was one of my like weak spots about 3 years ago, and I made it my mission to fine tune that craft. So
Wow.
doing that, I've kind of fallen into it. I'm like, I love this. I love interviewing people, understanding what makes them tick. But I will say, doing Chess, Not Checkers, one of the biggest things is being that one woman show. And not only am I facilitating discussion, having to learn how to edit and post my things and the captions and all of those things, learning how to navigate that while also having to manage a household and also having to work my corporate job and all of those things and all of life's changes. I think
Yeah.
it's just been difficult to navigate. But again, when you're walking in your purpose and you're doing something that is aligned with your mission, your personal mission, it's difficult, but it's worth it.
Yeah. To say that, I think we say it so lightly, like, oh, and the household and this and that. And you're pregnant, expecting your guys' first child, right? Right
Yes.
around the corner. I'm so excited for you guys. But those things are major. I mean,
Hmm.
people are taking those on as that's their entire life, that's their entire career. Just one of those 5 things you mentioned, plus all the others that you didn't mention. You guys have been going through immigration process, with your husband. You just got married. So many incredible things. I think that there are certain people in life who have a big plate and there's other people who have a Thanksgiving platter. Girl, you have a Thanksgiving platter when it comes to being able
It's a
to handle
buffet.
stuff.
It's a
It's a
buffet,
buffet.
literally. My life is golden corral. Like there's
Yep.
always something going on, but it's so funny amongst my friends. We always joke around like, Brittany, if anyone was to be the serial killer, it'd be you, because for some reason I just enjoy pain, and it's like self-inflicted pain. I'm always taking on new challenges, but I think growing up as a military child, always having to be
Mm,
the new kid, always having to introduce myself to people, always having to start over.
yeah.
It's so funny. Growing up, I was like, I just want to sit somewhere and take a job and just be. And that's so not my personality. I've got to be challenged both mentally and emotionally and spiritually. Like, I've got to be challenged to feel like, okay, the day's work is done.
That is so interesting that you thought you wanted what you weren't provided in childhood, but then turned around and said, actually, this is the chaos I'm used to. This is who I am, and I have to keep it going. When you took this leap and kind of jumped into entrepreneurship, what was that big why behind it? Why did you get started in this path? Because you do love corporate and you absolutely thrive there. It's not like anything is wrong. A lot of people want to quit their jobs because they're like, I hate this. I need to get out of this. That's not been your experience. So why did you also want to add this to the plate?
When it comes to developing primarily those soft skills to survive corporate America, there is no class, there is no playbook, and you can't really create that. But I wanted to get pretty damn close to creating a playbook to help people that are starting off in life. Because there are so many things that I learned throughout my career that looking back, I'm like, man, I probably could have avoided some of these challenges if I learned how to effectively communicate to people, if I learned how to listen to others, how to receive feedback. If those were skills that I could have learned early on in my career, maybe some of the challenges that I face would not have been as difficult. But not to say I'm really appreciative of those challenges that I faced, because it made me the woman and the successful entrepreneur and corporate America woman that I am. So I'm appreciative of it. But if I could help someone else navigate those things, I feel like my purpose has been fulfilled. Honestly, when I was starting Honor Development, it was my mentee's face that I saw in that dream when this came to me, because she would call me, she would talk to me about the things she was going through. And there were moments where I would have the phone on mute and I would laugh because I was like, okay, I remember going through this. How can I help her? But I'm like, if I could just help someone be able to pave the way and navigate those hurdles, then I've served my purpose and done what I need to do.
I love that. So with Honor Development, you are focused on corporate baddies and helping them have that longevity and be able to stay in business. It's a little bit of a different lane than what, we're doing here at Young Boss, where we're really trying to be that advocate for entrepreneurs and solopreneurs and helping them on their journey. You're helping on the opposite side. Hey, here's how we can have you actually like your job, stay longer, do better, get that promotion, get that raise, actually get hired. I know one of the things that you're becoming known for is helping people get hired in a crazy market where, geez, people are just applying like 100 times a day and not getting anything. So tell me a little bit about that and how you've been able to accomplish that with Honor Development, just going into helping, corporate people really climb the ladder.
Absolutely. It's all about learning how to not just play, but change the game. I think the corporate game is ever evolving. As our world changes, corporate America is always changing. And I've really been making it my mission to help people understand, okay, you're going to face these challenges. It's not going to be easy. Anything in life that's worth having is going to be a challenge, but you have to learn how to navigate it. And helping people through the Quick Tip Tuesday videos it's been awesome, just learning what are some of the challenges people are facing, not only from my experience, but also the people that I'm hearing from, and giving them a 2-minute or less development download on how you can navigate those different challenges. And as well as pivoting to the podcast of, okay, these are individuals who have made it. They're successful in their own right in their various fields. And how did they navigate adversity? How did they navigate imposter syndrome and all of those various things? And so that's where I really focus my time, is understanding, truly listening to others of what is it that they're facing in corporate America, and how can I help, as you say, those corporate baddies, be able to navigate the different challenges that you may face in corporate America.
As a young boss, you're probably buying stuff for your business all the time. I know I am, and I love a good Amazon purchase. So we created the Young Boss Amazon list for you to buy things for your office, for your team, books for you to check out, even clothes or jewelry that I'm wearing on the show. So go check out the Amazon list and add something to your cart today. Now, back to the show.
I actually think because of your brand and who you're targeting, it kind of makes sense for you to stay a little bit one foot in both worlds so you can keep your pulse going and knowing what's happening.
Absolutely. And that's I reiterate that to a lot of my corporate partners is that I'm never going to, I don't see myself leaving corporate America. I
Mm.
love that environment. I thrive in chaos, and a lot of corporate jobs are chaotic. I enjoy that. And it helps me understand what is going on, not only in the corporate world, but what's going on with people. And it helps me stay
Mm.
connected. And so I don't see myself leaving, not unless the Lord tells me that it's time to step away. I
Mhm.
don't see myself walking away from it.
Yeah, I think it's actually a benefit to you. And unlike so many people we talk to on the show who are like, I can't wait to leave or, whatever, really wanted to just burn the ships, for your particular business, I think it's actually beneficial for you. So
Absolutely. And I'm
I
thankful for
agree.
it.
Yeah. At least you're always going to have that, income coming in and that opportunity. And you've also had so many incredible titles and opportunities in your corporate career that have probably helped give you just such a well-rounded expertise, which leads me to my next question. What are most people coming to you wanting to work on?
Interview skills. That is like been the biggest thing as of late is people want someone to talk to on how to interview or even how to develop various skills of facilitating a discussion and
Mm,
just talk. Honestly, a lot of people want to talk about these are the challenges I'm facing. Have you faced this before and how do I navigate it? But I will
mm,
say about 90% of my time is interviewing skills. As you mentioned, the game in order to get into corporate America is challenging right now. People are
mhm.
submitting hundreds of applications and maybe hearing back, maybe not hearing back. So helping people navigate that rejection, as well as how do you position your resume to be easily seen and how do you present yourself in a virtual interview to show
Mhm.
someone that you are eager and ready, you know the business and you know yourself. That really has been about 90% of my time here with
Wow.
coaching various clients.
Wow. I mean, I think that's just a hot topic right now. And
It is.
this market is crazy. Really, people are applying more than ever, it seems. And it just seems like, why? Like,
Yeah.
where's the disconnect? Why aren't
Yeah.
we just looking for that application and finding the right person? Is it what is going on? So
Yeah.
it's a crazy world. Who
Yeah, it
knows?
is. It is a crazy world, but it's also not just people looking to enter the workforce. I think oftentimes, again, we have that mindset of you go to school, you graduate, you get a job, and a lot of people are just clinging to a job to have a job and not realizing that interviewing is reciprocal, that you are interviewing your employer just as much as they're interviewing you, and you have to make sure that you're finding the right fit. So quite a few of my clients, they're individuals that maybe they leaped at an opportunity that wasn't the right opportunity, and that's okay. And they're looking to pivot either to a new industry, a new job, or maybe just a new company altogether.
That is really interesting. I love it. I mean, I need to sign up for a consultation call with you. So we'll
Come
we'll,
on,
we'll
girlfriend.
chat more.
Absolutely.
You know, I want to jump back to the podcast because I'm going to make an assumption and I want you to correct me if I'm wrong, but
Okay.
the podcast, I'm assuming you're putting out such incredible content that it's leading people to want to sign up with Honor Development. Was that the marketing strategy?
It actually was not the marketing strategy at first. The podcast was a dream of mine.
Oh,
And I going to church, my pastor gave a sermon one day and he was just like, whenever you're having dreams, write them down. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll try it because for some reason I'm always waking up at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I had a dream about this podcast. And it was through connecting with you. You're like, wait, Brittany, tie the two together. Like these things, they go hand in hand together. And I was like, oh yeah, I didn't quite see that. But it has been pivotal in connecting with people that I probably never would have had the opportunity to connect with previously. And so
wow.
doing these interviews with various people, different industries, different levels of experience, it is open avenues for me to be able to connect with new people and to really broaden my network. And I tell everyone I do these interviews, but I feel like I have been blessed more than my listeners have because of the people that I've been able to connect with and be able to learn from just having those 20, 30-minute conversations.
So many podcasters tell me that. They're like, I started this selfishly because I just wanted to chat with people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's so true. I leave all my recording sessions, I'm like lit up. I'm like, what a fun idea. And that's amazing. And it just gets me thinking about the world differently.
It is.
So
It's so
I
great.
agree.
It is so great. And, someone said like, oh, there's so many podcasters because podcasters are people that their family just doesn't want to listen. Like no one's listening to them at home. And I'm like, well, my husband may or may not be listening to me. I don't care, but I'm getting blessed because of this podcast. And it sounds like others are as well.
Yep. There you go. If it helped one, right? I love it.
Exactly.
I know that you have been doing a lot of, I don't know what you would call it, mission work, volunteer work, or just opportunities to get in front of young people as well. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to just share with me what you have been doing and what the purpose of you going there to talk to them is.
Yeah, so this past summer, I did quite a few speaking engagements. I'll talk about two of them specifically. One of them was with the National Sales Network, which is a networking organization that helps individuals, primarily diverse individuals, break into the medical device industry. And I got to talk with them about how do you present yourself at networking events in order to be able to break into the industry. And that was pivotal and amazing. And the other event that I was able to do this summer, which was really awesome, was in partnership with the pastor of my church. And we were speaking to the professionals of our congregation about how do you find clarity in what it is that you want to do, especially in an age of tension. And I talked with them about networking and the power of networking, of how you never know who you're going to interact with, and as well as how do you position yourself in interviews. And just doing those engagements has, again, opened up doors and opportunities for myself to continue to expand and do more with other organizations and other individuals across Orlando.
That's amazing. I want to lean in on something because you've mentioned it a couple times, and I know that you are a woman of faith. How much has, jumping out onto this new ledge made you rely on that faith? And how often are you checking in to just be like, am I going the right direction? What's going on? Let's talk a little bit about faith in business.
Oh man, having faith in business. I don't know where I would be without my faith in the community that I've built. Because I think oftentimes when we're going to do something, we listen to our own internal voices, and we have to learn to be silent to hear the Holy Spirit lead us in the direction that we need to be. And for me, who's a yapper, learning how to just shut up sometimes and wait until I'm called to move has just been pivotal. So I do not make a decision in my life, in my business, or any avenue of my life unless I feel called to do it. And there's been opportunities that I've had where people are like, hey, can you speak on my podcast? Can you come to my event? And if I don't have, if I'm not called to do it and I don't feel like that's an avenue that I need to explore, I've been okay with saying no. And there've been people that are like, Brittany, you're starting off in business. You shouldn't do that. You need to say yes to everything. But I realize if I say yes to everything, I'm saying no to myself. And I'm saying no to the person who's allowed me to be in this position. And that's just not where I want to be. So my faith is definitely, I wouldn't be where I am without it, because the prayer has truly gotten me through all of the tough times and having to navigate what's next.
I love that. I got goosebumps when you said, you're saying no to you and you're saying no to him, right? And I think that there's so much power in that when you do say no, well, then maybe other future opportunities are going away now because you're not going to listen, anyways. So things are going to not happen the way that they were supposed to, versus when you are staying steadfast and really understanding what that guidance from the Holy Spirit looks like, and looking outside of yourself instead of going after selfish ambition. you know?
And that's a lot of the work that I do with my coaching clients. It's the first session that we do a values exercise, is identifying what is it that you value? What is it that's important to you? And I know that faith, religion, entrepreneurship, like those are the things that are important to me, but I have people identify what's important to you so you can understand, okay, at the end of the day, those things that you value, that's your North Star. And by focusing on that, you could stay focused on your goals, and you can be selective in the opportunities that you select because it's in alignment with the purpose and the values that you have.
Amen. I love it. Okay, I want to do a couple little just rapid fire questions with you.
Yes.
What would you say has been one of the biggest challenges in business thus far?
Not quitting when other people tell you that you should. That it's been a challenge because sometimes the outside voices just get so loud that you're like, okay, am I making the right decision? But again, having to be quiet and following, the direction in which I've been given, that's what's helped me keep staying forward.
Yeah. What do you find is one of your biggest strengths as a business owner?
Connecting with people. It's been one of my biggest strengths, and being able to share my story with others. My husband says that I talk too much and I share too much of my of my personal business. But what I tell him all the time and I tell people is the more that I can share my challenges, my struggles, it's allowed me to be able to connect with people, and people will say like, oh, I've been there before. And, it's so true. You never know what someone's going through, what they've been through, or what they're about to go through. And so I try to share my story and connect with others as much to be able to help people navigate life's hurdles.
I love it. Is youth a strength or a weakness in business?
It's such a strength. It is. It is such a strength. Just honestly, having time. When you're young, you can make mistakes. You can do all the things and you can really take a chance. It's great. As well as what I found nowadays, because I do a lot of recruiting as well, is the youth are hungry and they want to get out there. And what I found is a lot of people that are a little bit more tenured in their career, they're timid. They don't want to take changes. They want to be stagnant. They don't want to make too much of a change. So definitely your youth, as you say, your youth is your power, and it is definitely a superpower, especially when navigating corporate America.
I love it. Okay, last one, corporate or entrepreneurship?
Oh, I can't pick. Both.
There you go. I love it. Well, I'm so grateful to have you here on the show today. I absolutely have loved watching you in this first year and two of business and just seeing everything grow. Where can people listen to the podcast Chestnut Checkers?
Chestnut Checkers is available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. They also can connect with me on Instagram at Honor Development, and I'm also available on LinkedIn at Brittany Honor.
Amazing. Ooh, LinkedIn. I love
Yes.
LinkedIn is big. Do you find that you're using LinkedIn a lot?
Absolutely. So once I started exploring LinkedIn, initially I was only doing Instagram and a little bit of Facebook, and then of course posting on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But once I started posting on LinkedIn, I mean, it was like the floodgates opened. It really did open. The individuals that I was connecting with that either are doing very similar things to me or that are just curious to learn more of how they can get a career coach themselves. So it's been awesome, the network that I've built on LinkedIn.
I love it. Well, if you are listening to this show and you are starting your entrepreneurship journey, but you're also still 1 foot into the corporate world, maybe you need a career coach. Go check out Brittany Honor at Honor Development. Thank you so much for being on the show today, girl. I loved having you here.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss with your host, Isabelle Guarino. Be sure to like, share, and follow on TikTok and Instagram, and subscribe wherever you like to listen to your podcast. And remember, youth is your power.